Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscription. This is the All Signs daily reading for Monday, the 27th of February. It is not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on a different date, by all means, if it makes sense to you, utilize the reading. I believe readings can be timeless and find us when we need them rather than when they were originally created for. I will be referring back to the Sunday underpinning energy, which is the reading from Sunday. That populates in the lower left-hand corner. So if you see me talking about cards that you don't see in this reading, I'm referring back to that. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily videos. In there is some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel, what decks I'm using, how to contact me via social media. If you want to follow the reading or just want to follow me, know that I will never reach out to you to offer you a reading or to solicit you for a reading. And then there's also easy ways to support the channel. You can do that by hitting the thumbs up button if you enjoy my content, leaving me a question or comment on the video, sharing the video out, or of course, subscribing to the channel if you feel, excuse me, if you feel inclined to do so. And then the other thing I want to say is that if this doesn't make any sense, like if it doesn't seem to fit with whatever situation you're dealing with, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong. You just might be working on something different at this time, right? So don't stress about that. And this is a broad spectrum reading for the collective. So I speak in broad terms. You have to figure out kind of like if and where this may fit in your life around what situation. Always trust your own intuition. All right, so let's see what's going on in the cards. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, so let's see what the card is for today. We have the Hierophant. More major arcana, guys. Interesting. I like that he is here. He's associated with Virgo energy. I like that he is here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Hierophant is not Virgo. He is Taurus energy. He is actually nicely aligned with the Empress that we have from Sunday underpinning this. She kicks off the week in the Sunday reading, and she's associated with the planet Venus, which is also closely linked to Taurus and the sign of Libra. The Hierophant is about spiritual higher knowledge, institutional wisdom. It can be about marriage and unions, commitments. It is a pillar card in the major arcana. The thing I like about this is when he's opening this box, like you can see in the design here, in the drawing, it almost looks like we're opening ourselves up to a wealth of information coming from maybe, say, our higher self or our spirit guides or our own God or our connection to our higher power. This information, this light that's coming out of this box, is in alignment with us, right? Very much so. And what I said in the Sunday reading was that the Empress is going to be about kind of seeking out beauty, nurturing the things that bring her joy, happiness, enhancing her life, right? Or we should be in that energy of looking around our life in the situations, the relationships, whatever it is that we're doing in our day-to-day and kind of assess, does this bring us joy? Is this, something that's good for us, right? In a way, like to break it down really easily. The Hierophant speaks to like having that information coming to us, I think, from within. I also feel like he's not necessarily the masculine counterpart to the Empress. That would be the Emperor. But I feel like the Empress would represent that divine feminine sort of energy or, energy or just the side of us that is the divine feminine. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired today. But the Hierophant to me represents kind of the divine masculine, but from a more spiritual perspective, right? So I think that what's going on here, or what we're being told, is that there's a wisdom coming to us from within us, from our higher spiritual self, that is opening us up, waking us up. We might be seeing things in a different light or through a different lens. Obviously, a more spiritual lens with the hot Hierophant here, right? And a lens of maybe compassion or beauty with the Empress being underneath this. I feel like, and remember yesterday's, what was the healing mantra for yesterday? It was that discovering happiness. And he's definitely having a discovery in here. And when I was saying about it also, this kind of coincides with the light that was in the Ten of Wands in the Sunday reading around the middle of the card, around that bundle of sticks or around that burden, whatever it is that we might be dealing with, it isn't necessarily in alignment to us. I feel like this is that higher spiritual truth informing us or us figuring that out through maybe going inward, through contemplation, through meditation, through having, a conscious conversation with our own selves and assessing, does this work for me? Is this, the thing that I need? Does this bring more joy, beauty, harmony into my life? Um, and also, what's the, and also whether or not, is it worthy of me kind of thing, right? Because the Empress is very much about knowing her worth, and so would the Hierophant would be the same. He is about like higher spiritual wisdom. And that whole respect stone that's underlying all of this, it's like in some ways we may need to respect and acknowledge a higher spiritual truth that we're becoming aware of, which maybe this is like the light that is in the Ten of Wands in the midweek. It's like our truth is shedding light on situations around us that is making us realize whether or not these situations need to continue forth, is my feeling. I think that this is a very good card. The Hierophant is a pillar card. He's a very, grounded, strong energy, but he's very sort of self aware, self connected, running on his own wisdom rather than that of, what other people think or need or think we need. There might be a little bit of that energy because that did come up in the Sunday reading where other people might be telling us, hey, are you sure you want to do that? Or maybe now's not the right time, or, whatever it is that they're trying to tell us. If it's in, what's the word? Like if it's in contrast, I don't want to say conflict because it's not conflict. I get a feeling that this could be, the best natured suggestions coming from friends, loved ones, whomever, society, but it's sent with the best of intentions, but it's not necessarily our truth. And I get this, and the other thing when I say that too, that Nine of Pentacles from Sunday's reading in the end of the clarifiers speaks to that sort of independence of believing in ourselves, creating our own abundance, not relying on, anyone or any situation or any outside sort of influence to kind of provide it to us. It's about us awakening to the realization, the truth, the light, and then from there assessing and moving forward, creating that, right? So the Hierophant's going to be highly in touch with that, and also rather intuitive or knowledgeable. This is about wisdom, really. This is a card of like spiritual wisdom. He's going to be connected to whatever this realization, this light. To me, it's almost like he's opening up a treasure, right? Like there's something, hopefully, there's something that we're becoming aware of that is a spiritual truth for us that we are going to take action on. And this is the beginning of that. And it should be, because it's, the Hierophant underpinned by the Empress, it should be something rather substantial, a substantial truth. And it should, with that, substantial aspect of it, I think that there's a great payoff or a great reward in trusting this truth, is my feeling. And, that card Discovering Happiness is about pursuing that this week. And the Hierophant will lead us that way in a very, grounded, I don't know if persistent is the right word, but he's not going to be swayed. Does that make sense? Like we know what we need, we know what we know, we may be realizing it, but we're so aware and clear on the fact that it's our truth that we have to hold on to it and act from that truth rather than, what old patterns or behaviors or ways of being we might have relied upon in the past. I hope that makes sense. So, and it's interesting because I'm looking at this card now, the healing mantra card. It's deconstructing doubt. And this kind of keys into those sort of naysayers, even though they may have the best of intentions when they try and tell us, oh, maybe that's not the right time, or maybe that's not the right choice, or oh, are you sure you should do that? That presents doubt to us. We want to deconstruct that. We want to trust our own higher spiritual wisdom right now. We want to trust that divine feminine empress energy that's trying to create more abundance, beauty, connection in our life, right? And so and pursue that happiness, discover that happiness over the course of this week and through these cards, through the choices that we make or where we put our attention, the thoughts or the feelings that we choose to give attention to are going to be how we live and the direction we head in, the action we take. So let me read Deconstructing Doubt. It says, only my beliefs are in my way. This can be our beliefs, but it can also be the beliefs of others. I get a feeling that some of this is the beliefs of others. Like if we are pursuing our happiness this week and it doesn't necessarily make sense to others, or they say, are you sure you could do that? Or that's not how life works. Or, sometimes we're like, what's the word? I don't know if it's subconsciously, or subliminally. Sometimes we're programmed by like societal beliefs or the way that our parents raised us or the way we watched our parents be in their world, in their life. And we adopt that without even realizing it. If we have a certain set belief in ourselves about like, oh, and I'm just using this as an example, like to get money, I have to work really, really hard. Then we find ourselves struggling on a wheel, working hard, trying to get to that money, and it never quite comes because the underlying subliminal message there is money's hard to create, so to speak. Does that make sense? And I think that there's a clarity, because there was also that Three of Swords with that clear heart, that glass heart. There's a clarity that's coming to us, a newfound depth of wisdom that helps us to potentially deconstruct this doubt and move towards creating things that are more in alignment with what we want and desire, right? So let me go. It's interesting too because we have discovering happiness and now we're deconstructing doubt, both with these. All right, so only my beliefs are in my way. Let me read this card to you. As you deconstruct doubt, you are no longer lost in the concerns and curiosities of what if, but are more rooted in the truth of what is. When doubt is deconstructed, hardship is no longer a sign of misfortune. It is an opportunity to step outside your comfort zone and meet the higher aspects of soul, that would be the Hierophant, guys, that exist just beyond the boundary of the self. This mantra is ideal for aligning with truth, being more self-actualized, and transforming inferiority. And let me just tell you this, the Empress ain't about inferiority. She knows who she is, she knows what she wants, she knows what she deserves. And not in a selfish, like, egoic way, in a very much a nurturing, calm, grounded presence that connects us to the world or our environment, to nature, to our relationships in a more like sort of profound and healing way, right? So there's something going on here where we get to realize this about ourselves and take this wisdom, and it feels like big wisdom with Empress and Hierophant being here. It feels like a big realization, a big belief shift or awareness that transforms how we may act in our world or in our relationships. I hope that makes sense. Let's go to the clarifiers. We have the Eight of Swords. So this is some of that doubt that we're trying to deconstruct. She feels like she's locked in there. She's tied, blindfolded, we may feel or tell ourselves we don't have all of the information, or we need, you know, it's similar to what I was just saying about, those beliefs that are imprinted on us through watching other people struggle and assuming that that's just going to happen to us, or that we've got the same sort of lot in life. And we don't necessarily. We can pursue something different. We can believe in something different and thus create that something different. The Eight of Swords may feel like we have to battle against, or um, battle is kind of a strong word. I don't want to say battle, but we may have to like inventory our thoughts and what we communicate to ourselves and where those limitations are, is my feeling with this card. Because the thing is that she has swords around her, right? So she's can't necessarily, she feels trapped, but what she doesn't realize, because she's not seeing everything, is that there's no swords in front of her. All she needs to do is step forward and she's outside of the situation. She's no longer as trapped as she thought she was. So wherever there may be doubt or limiting beliefs, we might have to look at them, or uh, settle scores with them, so to speak. And I think that we will with the Hierophant there, because his wisdom is far stronger than the fear of the eight, or the worry of the Eight of Swords. We have the Nine of Swords. Okay, yeah, we are working through our worries, our fears, the communication we give ourselves, or the communication, this could be others' communications to us that limit us or cause us anxieties. This is a day where we have to trust ourselves over that other information. If that information is coming from within our own mind, within our own, even within our own experience, if we're like looking at something that, trying to achieve something or create something through the energy of the Empress, and we are comparing it to previous attempts and that maybe weren't successful, we could be creating our own anguish or worry, or living by our own limiting beliefs. We want to address those things, and those things may be very much up for us. What we believe, we receive. And so we're looking at those beliefs through these thoughts and these communications. That's what swords energy is. It's the air element, it's the mind, it can sometimes be the ego, it's definitely like fear and worry. But I think that, again, the Hierophant kind of trumps all of this. He's trying to reach that higher perspective, that bigger, broader viewpoint, and see the truth in the matter, to be able to move forward and get beyond whether whatever's been holding us back or limiting us, whether it belongs to us or to, society around us, or the relationships we keep, or the situations that we're in. And then the last clarifier is the Fool. Love it. Fool is also major arcana, but what this says is this is a new beginning. This is about throwing it all in the garbage and moving forward. And I don't mean in the garbage, but like as far as deconstructing the doubt, and then seeing all of this Eight and Nine of Swords, this sort of progression of looking at maybe the progression of our negative beliefs and our thought patterns, how and where they stop us, limit us, or keep us in a place of lack. The Fool's like, screw it, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna turn over a new leaf. I'm gonna live in hope, in harmony, in new beginnings. I'm going to be. He's this. There's this like aspect to the Fool where he's called the Fool because there's some people may not, I think how we're going about something might be foolish, but the truth is you have to be naive and open enough to shift and change and let go. And I think that that's the Fool's like grace or power, is that he's open to new thought, he's open to new opportunities, he's open to new avenues or adventures. And some people may see that as risky. That's why he's sort of there on the side of the cliff, but he's willing to take that risk. And the sun up above his head shows us or symbolizes that there is a truth here. There is a new beginning. There is a positive outcome. The sun is one of the most positive cards in the deck. So the fact that the sun is, part of this art always says that, if there's no risk, there's no reward. But here there is a reward, even though, but we have to be open enough, brave enough, daring enough to trust maybe our higher wisdom that's coming to us that may be in direct, like, conflict's not the right word, but it may be so, this new truth may be so different than what we've previously believed or been acting upon, that it requires us to really almost, like, I feel like there's a deprogramming happening today in these cards. It prompts us to look at the thoughts we think, the things we tell ourselves, and then say, okay, I'm moving in this direction. I'm going to try this now. And doing that, trusting ourselves over anyone else or their opinions or what we think. Here's a thing that just crossed my mind. If you're having thoughts that say, I should, then that's not yours, right? I used to have a teacher that always used to say, don't should on yourself. And she used to say that should is usually somebody else's information. So like when we're saying, I should do this, well, that's probably because that's what your mother would want you to do. That's what your partner would want you to do. That's what your kids would want you to do. Or that's what, the societal right thing to do is. But the Fool doesn't listen to that. The Hierophant has a higher awareness or understanding. And the Empress is going to go after the thing that brings her the most sort of pleasure, happiness, and joy. And that's what we are pursuing this week. And we may have to face some of the things that we have internally or that are around us that block us from that, if that makes sense. And that's where that Ten of Wands comes in the midweek to allow us to begin to let go and move towards something new. The Fool would indicate the same thing. And perfectly, the grounding stone for today, going along with the Fool, is laugh. Have a sense of humor about some of this stuff. Some of these thoughts and limitations that we may be having to look at or address or shift or change, they may have worked for us at one point in time, but it's okay to kind of have some levity or humor at, how we've behaved in the past or what we've done to sort of keep ourselves safe. A fool is also in the what's like in the Knights of the Round Table or whatever. And during the medieval times, the fool was always the entertainer or the comic, right? And he would bring in and create entertainment and laughter. So we want to find the joy amidst whatever sort of like mental inventory or struggle we might be dealing with, to help deconstruct this doubt, to move ourselves towards this better feeling place, or this situation or relationship or whatever it is we're moving towards that's more in alignment with us. The other thing I'll say about laugh before I let you go is that humor is a very high vibrational energy, right? When we're laughing, when we're in joy, when we're in amusement, nothing can really stick to that. Like negativity can't stick to that. Limitation can't really stick to that. Amusement is very high vibrational, similar to like joy, right? When we're in that space of amusement, we're free enough to not be weighed down by maybe the negative thoughts that we normally deal with on a day-to-day basis. I really think that this is an opportunity for us to look at those thoughts, maybe even have a laugh at them, and set ourselves free towards something new. I hope that makes sense. That is your reading for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you feel drawn to. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Share the video out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them on the video, and have a wonderful day. Take care.